السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we start off as always by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by saying the word of Alhamdulillah, the beautiful word, which shows our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our recognition for His blessings, our love that He gave us what we have today to use for our own comfort and our own benefit. We say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen out of submission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recognizing that He is our Lord. He created us. He is the one who gave us the ability and guided us. He gave us the two greatest miracles and blessings that humans possess, and that is the Quran and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when you say Alhamdulillah, recognize its value, recognize its meaning, its weight, and how much that really says about you when you say it. Give meaning to the word Alhamdulillah. And we give our praise and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to praise and bless Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the last and final messenger, the one who He sent to us as a role model, as guidance, so that we can find our comfort and happiness in this life and in the next life. Ya ayyuhan nas, ittaqu rabbakum inna zalzalata as-sa'ati shay'un 'azim. O mankind, be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have taqwa, and know that the earthquake of the Day of Judgment, the realities of the Day of Judgment is harsh, it is hard, and it is real. اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة. And also be pious towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and have taqwa for Allah, the one who created us from a single human being, and created from him his wife, Hawa. And يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know that the reward of consciousness of Allah is to have accuracy and steadfastness, accuracy in what you do, soundness in what you do, correctness in what you do. Amma ba'd. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the path that you are on, the path that you wake up every day and continue, the path that every night you go to sleep while you are on it, where is it taking you? Have you ever thought and stopped for a moment and ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Where is this taking me? And is this the best that I can offer myself? Have you ever stopped and asked yourself that? Most people haven't, and that's human nature. But we are on a path, we cannot deny this. And regardless of where that path is taking you, we are still on it. And every day we spend every moment of our day pursuing it. Sometimes we do it recognizing where we are trying to go, and most people, they don't. They just kind of go with the flow. Whatever today presents. Or, I'm going to school. After school, I'll graduate, I'll go to college, and then I'll start working, then I'll get married. Very simple things. Realistic things, but very simple things. Or their goals are temporary, short-term goals, like I'd like to buy a house. I'd like to buy this car. I want to make sure I graduate. I want to work in this field. These are all realistic goals and necessary, but they are goals that come to an end. They have a stop. Whether that stop is short-term or in the distant future, there is a stop. But one thing we can all agree upon, that we must agree upon, it is a condition of faith. It is part of our faith. We are not true believers. We do not complete our faith unless we believe in this. And that is that there is a day of judgment. That one day, every one of us will stop breathing, and we will be buried by our families and our friends. And we will start a new journey, one that goes directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this path that we are on today needs to be defined. It needs to be known. You need to know where you're going. We all need to know. And that's why the scholars came up with this concept of muhasabatun nafs, self-examination. Imam al-Ghazali teaches us this. Ibn Taymiyyah teaches us this. Many of the spiritual scholars teach us this, that every day, at a specific time, either after Fajr, or before you go to sleep, or during night, spend a few minutes with yourself and review your life. Review your actions of yesterday. Review your goals of tomorrow. Self-examination. And it is so important. And you won't understand how profound this is, how much this affects the person until you actually try it out. And what I found extremely interesting is that this concept of self-examination is actually promoted by businessmen and influential people. That when you go home, take a portion of your time, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you have, and examine your actions. Think about the time, the previous sale you tried making. Where were the strong points that you had? What were the weak points that you had? If you weren't able to make the sale, why not? If you were able to make the sale, how come? Self-examination is not just a spiritual concept. It is an important humanistic concept that we should apply. That every day we take a few moments of our time and review our actions. And we need to remember that in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a vision, and that vision is the Day of Judgment. That every one of us, every human being from Adam alayhi salam until the Day of Judgment, trillions of people will be gathered on that day. And every one of them will meet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as an individual. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. That everyone, every single one of them will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will go to Him as an individual, a one-on-one meeting. And that day, as the verse that I just recited, إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ, that the Day of Judgment, it has harsh events. Things go on. Things that we cannot even imagine go on. On that day, people will be the size of ants. Some people will be the size of an ant. And people are moving and they're crushing him or her. And the Prophet ﷺ teaches us that is the person who's arrogant. The person who looks down upon people. Thinks that he or she is better than everyone else. Or better than so-and-so simply because they have a degree or they have a car or they have this position or they have this wealth. And there are other people who will be on pulpits of light. And the Prophet ﷺ tells us those are the just rulers. Those who are just in the position of authority that they have. And there are some people who will go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clothed in beautiful garments. And those are the people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first one being Ibrahim alayhi salam. And there are some people who go towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and every so often a group of camels, a group of sheep, a group of cows will come and just stomp upon him or her because they didn't give zakah. This is the reality of the Day of Judgment that we are all going to. So it is important that we, in our time right now that we have, we utilize it, we set goals, we give meaning to the life that we have by self-examination. My dear brothers and sisters, in Islam, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if looked upon from an outside perspective, from a perspective that lacks knowledge, it looks like a boring one. It looks like one where it's either or. Either I am pious, I'm religious, and I give up the fun of this world, or I go after, pursue the fun of this world, and give up the next one. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And take this saying from the scholars of the past. They said, "Fi dunya jannah." Fi dunya jannah. In this life is a paradise. Man lam yadkhulha lam yadkhul jannat al-akhir. Whoever doesn't enter it won't enter the paradise of the next life. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has structured this life and our religion in a way that in order to succeed in the next life, you will find paradise in this life. And that makes sense. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the most merciful, the most generous, the most kind, the most compassionate, and the list goes on of His names and attributes. Do you think that He will give us a religion, a path, that's only about suppressing your abilities, making you bored, taking you away from life, disconnecting you socially? That couldn't be completely contrary. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, out of His love for us, gave us a religion where if you follow it, you will find happiness in this life before the next life. He will reward you in this life by reminding you of the paradise of the next life. He will open the doors of paradise, metaphorically speaking. Open the doors of paradise to you so that you are smelling the winds of paradise. You are gaining, you are taking from it in this life as a reminder to you that what's coming, what Allah has prepared for you in the next life is even better. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works. So if you are looking for a good life, then the best way is the path Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, has defined through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and through the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the guidance and knowledge to pursue that. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, can we move forward please? Brothers and sisters, please move forward, fill in the gap. We don't want to make sure that no one has to pray outside because it's quite hot. So when you pursue Islam, it does not in the least bit disconnect you from society. On the contrary, it recognizes human needs, the human desire to have fun, the human desire to engage in activities, in sports, with family, socially. And the Sahaba recognized this. And the Prophet ﷺ recognized this. And he teaches us a lesson. One day a companion by the name of Hanzala goes up to Abu Bakr. And he's like, I'm a hypocrite, I'm a hypocrite. This is a very well-known hadith. But sometimes we need to kind of put the point. What is this trying to teach us? He goes to Abu Bakr saying, I'm a hypocrite. Nafaqa Hanzala. I'm a hypocrite, I'm a hypocrite. So Abu Bakr's like, why? Why are you a hypocrite? He says, when I'm with the Prophet ﷺ, it's as if I see paradise in front of me. I feel piety, I feel iman rushing through me. But then I go home and I play with my wife, and I play with my kids, and I eat, and I sleep, and I drink, and I socialize. And that goes away. I'm a hypocrite. So Abu Bakr is like, man, the same thing happens to me. I'm a hypocrite too as well. So they go to the Prophet ﷺ, the source of guidance, They go to him, they say, "O Prophet of Allah, this is what happens. This is our reality." He said, if you were to stay on the pious state, as if when you're always with, or as if you were always with me, then know that the angels will come down to you and give you handshakes. But 1 hour for this, 1 hour for that. This is how Islam works. 1 hour for this, 1 hour for that. But the scholars tell us you need to have a vision. You need to focus that so that 1 hour or 2 hours or this hour and that hour aren't gone to waste. And unfortunately today, in the society we live in, and with the privileges that we have, people just, it's all about the desires. The exaggerated form of liberalism. Liberalism has its virtues, but an exaggerated application of liberalism is harmful, just like an exaggerated application of a conservatism is also harmful. Today our kids, even sometimes the adults, social media, video games, music, let's go here, let's go there, let's go to theaters. That's life for many people. And when you look at it, from not, I won't even speak spiritual perspective. I won't speak Islamic perspective. I will speak based on what I learned from psychologists, scholars of psychology. They said liberalism, having a life that's all about pursuing one's desires, is very harmful because it creates a life that is meaningless. There is no purpose. And then they continue saying that a meaningless life leads to suicide, higher rates of suicide. And we see this. Wallahi al-Azim, we see this. And it is sad. Depression is sad, and it needs to be addressed. Suicide is sad, and it needs to be addressed. And they have psychologists for that. They have certain ways of dealing with that. And from a spiritual perspective, we have certain ways of dealing with that as well. One of the most profound ways of dealing with that, going against battling a meaningless life, is giving meaning to life. Very simple. How does Islam do that? There are 3 things we need to recognize. Number 1, who we come from, our origins. Adam alayhi salam, what is his story? Our father. Know the morals, the lessons, the story of Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, our mother, Eve. Know their story. How were they created? We tend to focus on he was this height and this width, right? And then he was in paradise and he made a mistake. What about the one who created him? How is Adam unique alayhi salam in that sense? How are you as a human unique? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you with his own 2 hands. He says that in the Quran, لِمَا خَلَقْتُ بِيَدَيْهِ. That he created Adam, he created you. Distinguished, noble, valuable, important. He created you in a way he did not create anything else. To show us, to show each and every one of us that Allah cares about you. That you are valuable to him. He sees something in you. You are a treasure. But sometimes we just need to unlock that treasure. It's there. Every human is a treasure. Every human has the ability to do good. This is what I believe. But sometimes we choose the wrong path, or sometimes we're just unaware. We're heedless. And that's why we need self-examination. That's why we need to put value and meaning in our life and review what we are doing. Where are we going? Know that your father is Adam alayhi salam, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. He gave you value. He gave you nobility. And this is so important. I need to keep repeating this so it sinks in our minds, so that we know that us as human beings, we have so much. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us in a way that shows us He wants a relationship with us. He's reaching out to you. He's telling you, oh, so-and-so. Male or female makes no difference. Oh, so-and-so. Allah, I want a relationship with you. I want you to be close to me. So recognize your origins, and that gives you value. Number 2, recognize the meaning of life. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create all of this? Why put us here in the first place? This is a common question we get from the youth. Why, Adam ate from the tree and now we're in this mess. Why? Why did Allah have to make that tree forbidden? You know what? There is a lesson in that. It's a valid question because there's a lesson in that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created this life, He tells in the Quran there are 3 main reasons. Number 1, لِيَرْحَمَكُمْ, to have mercy upon you. And when someone has mercy upon someone else, what is that a sign of? It's a sign of love, a sign of care. Sign that you mean something to me. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world to have mercy upon us, how are we going to understand that mercy if we are already in His mercy? Number two, He created this life, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, to test you, to train you, to teach you, to get you to know Him. Because in paradise, a perfect world, how are we going to know Allah is Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman, the most merciful? If we're making no mistakes, how are we going to know Allah is the most merciful? How are we going to know Him as At-Tawwab, the one who accepts repentance? Now look at the person's life, someone who has gone through mistakes, made bad decisions, and then repents. For example, Umar, radiallahu anhu. Take Umar as an example. Who some scholars say the verse, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. That this verse, look at the example of one who was in darkness, so we gave him light. And we made him a source of light. We gave him life and made him a source of light. And he's guiding people. Some say this is Umar radiallahu anhu. No doubt he is part of that. Umar radiallahu anhu, before becoming Muslim, went to go kill the Prophet with his sword. His sword was in his hand. It was going. But Allah wanted something else for him. And there was a moment where he opened his heart for Islam and it entered. Look at Umar radiallahu anhu's story. This man, this strong guy, who would tell everyone, gather, all of you come at me. Anyone who wants to get a beat down, I'm ready for them. This is Umar's personality. He was set, but Islam took him and made him even better. That's how we know At-Tawwab, Ar-Rahim. Allah had mercy upon him. Amr ibn al-As, this great companion of him, he said on his deathbed, he started crying and said to his child asked him, why are you crying? Didn't you do this and didn't you do that? You're a companion of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, all of that means nothing in front of La ilaha illallah. The best thing that we have is La ilaha illallah. Nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Qulu La ilaha illallah. Say La ilaha illallah. That is our religion. Nothing worthy of worship except Allah. He said nothing in front of La ilaha illallah, in front of this word, everything else is secondary. However, my life went through three phases. Three phases. First, I was an enemy of the Prophet ﷺ. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took me then, I would be a person of hellfire. Allah had mercy upon me. Imagine that feeling. Put yourself in that situation. And many of us weren't praying before, or weren't fasting before, or were making wrong decisions. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us and had mercy upon us. How does that make you feel? Doesn't that make you feel like you want to know Allah more? Get close to Him? That is the point of life. To help you go through this training period where you build a relationship with Allah, so that when you go to paradise and you are His neighbor there, you are his or her neighbor there, his neighbor there, you are His neighbor there, you are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's neighbor there, you have a relationship with Him. And that's number two. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world as a training period. The third reason He created this world is to show us the path, is to build that relationship, as I said before. The third point that I wanted to make, we said that the first point of putting meaning in this life is to understand your origins. Number two, understand the meaning of life. And number three, recognize that we have an appointment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going there. If you can, not go to this meeting, more power to you. But that's not going to happen. Therefore, the Prophet ﷺ teaches us, كُونُوا فِي الدُّنْيَا كَعَابِرِ سَبِيلٍ. Be in this life as a passerby, as a wayfarer, someone just passing by. Now, someone looking at this will say, we're supposed to live in this life, abstaining from fun and not doing this and not doing that. That's not what the hadith means. Because when you look at what the scholars say, they said then you have to use this life in order to invest. And in order to invest, you have to pursue, you need goals. Invest in the next life. And alhamdulillah, as I said in the beginning of this khutbah, that Allah structured this religion in a way that we can stay engaged, connected to this world, while investing in the next life. So by being a passerby in this life, it means you take your job and put meaning in it. By recognizing that you are responsible Islamically for your own financial means, and for the financial means of your wife, and for the financial means of your children, You put meaning in what you do, why you get up every day. Because it could be really redundant and quite painful to have to get up every morning and go to work at 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock and then go home, 2-hour commute or an hour and a half commute, and then you eat and go to sleep. And then the next day is the same thing. That's very redundant. But if you put Islam in there and you change it and put a meaning in that you are getting up as an act of worship because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded you to do that. And you go there saying, I'm going to be the best employee because that gives me reward in the next life and that makes Allah pleased. And you do it because I am responsible for my family and paying them and making sure my kids go to college and making sure my wife is okay and we have a house and we don't go into any financial burdens. That is an act of worship. Take what you are already doing and put meaning in it. Self-reflect on what you are doing and put meaning in your life. Self-reflect on your goals. Reflect on your goals and put meaning in what you are doing. Know that you are going somewhere and therefore work for it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. An example is given to differentiate a successful business person from an unsuccessful business person. If a person has $5, they want ice cream and they want a piece of candy. Each one costs $5. A successful business person won't say, oh, I'll just take one or the other. He or she will think, how can I get both? How can I get both? In Islam, it teaches us how can you have both, this life and the next life. And Allah made it easy for us by giving us one path of Islam. Pursue it, you will have this life and the next life. Do it by putting meaning in what you do. Sometimes we try and rely on our enthusiasm. We have this spiritual high in Ramadan, right? And then it kind of dies down. Don't rely on your enthusiasm, your motivation. Rely on discipline. Rely on discipline by recognizing what you do has meaning, has a purpose. When you come here, there's a purpose behind it. Think about it. When you pray, there's a purpose behind it. When you fast Ramadan, there's a purpose behind it. When you give charity, there's a purpose behind it. Many purposes behind it. Put meaning in what you do. Put meaning in Islam. Do not just be a follower of Islam that has no knowledge, that is very shallow, surface, right? Put meaning in what you do. Find out the meaning of life. And to conclude, one of these psychologists that I referred to before says that in the pursuit of finding meaning in life, one needs to recognize that they have to do it themselves. Islam guides us. It has the foundations there. But in order to recognize what the meaning of your life is, you need to reflect. And that is a concept of Islam, a concept of Quran. لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ, to reflect upon the verses of the Quran. Reading the Quran without reflecting will only get you so far. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us by giving us light, by giving us knowledge, by giving us enthusiasm, by giving us discipline, by helping us understand the meaning of what we do, the meaning of life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our youth from depression, from suicide, from these thoughts, and from all Muslims and non-Muslims as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us become stronger, become better as a community, as individuals, as family members, as friends. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to elevate us as individuals, to help us attain the next step, to reach the next step of Iman, to attain the highest levels of faith, and to help us be amongst the people of paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us find the paradise of this life. We have a few announcements. I mentioned last week that there was a tragic accident that happened in Lebanon. The family and relatives will be holding condolences this Sunday, inshallah, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. here in OCIF and the MPR. The deceased woman is Sausan Shibao. She is actually a community member. Her and her husband are community members. She was part of the women's committee. So she used to help out here in the masjid. So the condolences will be given on Sunday from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. here in OCIF. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon them and to take care of their kids. They left behind 2 kids. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of them, to take care of all orphans. Then we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive the believers, the males and the females, the believing males and females. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them and to have mercy upon them always. There will be no programs tonight, no Friday Quran program, nor My OC there are no programs tonight because it is the 4th of July weekend and people tend to go out a lot, plus it's really hot. So my OC is holding a community potluck on Saturday, July 21st at Salt Creek Beach at 12 noon. At 12 noon, again, that's my OC is hosting a potluck at Salt Creek Beach at 12 o'clock noon. This is for the community. Also, the theme of this event is bring a friend, Muslim or non-Muslim, right? Bring a friend, a Muslim who doesn't attend the masjid much, bring them with you. A non-Muslim you'd like, who's a friend of yours, bring them with you. So please come, inshallah. It's a beautiful area and we're expecting to have a lot of fun. So please come out, inshallah. The flyer is available on the bulletin board. Pillars Academy Summer Camp is still open for registration. The Muslim Youth Retreat is holding its annual youth camp for high schoolers aged 14 to 19 at Big Bear over Labor Day weekend. Muslim Youth Retreat is led by Omar Ashmawi, who's also a youth leader here with me. He does a fantastic job. You can visit their page on Facebook at facebook.com/Muslim Youth Retreat. Uplift Charity Organization is looking for car donations to local needy families. If you have a used car you don't need, if you and a few of your friends would like to gather and buy a used car or fund a used car for people, they tend to go to the refugee families or people in need. This does a lot of good work. There's so much reward in this because now this family is going to use it to go to work, to make money. So when they go to work and fulfill their financial responsibilities, you're getting reward for that. They come to the masjid, inshallah. You're getting reward for that. They go to the groceries to take care of their kids, to buy food for themselves and feed them. You're getting reward for that. There's a big opportunity here to get reward. So if you have a used car, you know of a used car, you and a few people would like to gather and fund a used car, that would be greatly appreciated. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.